This is television for the Isles of Scilly, brought to you with Worldwide Financial Planning, Truro and Penwith College, and the Scilly Lottery. From Radio Scilly, this is scillytv.com. Thursday's Careers Convention wasn't just about youngsters. A number of adults attended the sessions organised by the Five Island School, Penny Rogers. Experts from further education providers like Truro and Penwith College were along with local employers like the Tresco Estates, the Duchy of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly Steamship Company. The RAF and the Royal Navy were in attendance, but the Army reportedly couldn't come along to the island's event because of budgetary cutbacks. Penny Rogers says she was pleased that the event was so well attended. Cheryl Meaton of Truro and Penwith College attended the careers event. She's been to all of them so far and says this year has seen the highest intake of Ireland's youngsters into the college. Now, as Truro College is linked to Penwith College in Penzance, Cheryl says there are new opportunities for Islanders who wish to study even closer to the islands and a potential to mix work on the mainland with working from home. The college has a special relationship with the islands because pupils are often leaving home for the first time, and Cheryl says it's important they get special support. Helen McGuinness was representing the Council's Lifelong Learning Department. She says grants are available to the tune of £120 for anybody wanting to visit and check out a new school or college on the mainland. Well, all of the stalls and events displays were well attended, apart from one. Island vet Heike Dawn says for the fourth year in a row she's had very little interest. She claims it's because youngsters don't seem to be interested in working in the veterinary field. Penny Rogers says that many youngsters, speaking to experts, seem to have been given food for thought. Traditional sea shanty singing is popular, of course, throughout Cornwall and particularly popular on the islands. As they await to travel back to the mainland on the Selonian, visiting rowers from Newquay often put on a show on the patio of the Atlantic Inn. And the last Thursday in September saw the final Bone Idol charity concert on our islands for the summer season. The group has developed from a bit of fun into something much bigger, with regular concerts of the island's men singing sea shanties to an ever-increasing audience. A CD's been produced. Visiting Selonian Jason Hicks has joined in the singing on his visit home from South Australia. He says the original concept's become a much bigger event. Jason says he feels quite nostalgic coming back home to Scilly and singing the songs that he grew up with. Giles Lethbridge says he's pleased with how things have gone and how this season has exceeded expectation. And soon the boys, minus Jason, who'll be back home in Oz, will go on tour and enjoy their first paid performance. Jason says the lads hopefully will visit Adelaide in May, where there is a similar sea shanty event to that the boys attended in the summer in Falmouth. Well, there's been a mixed bag of successes for Islanders taking on the visiting Mal-de-Mer sportsmen. Now, the visiting Islanders are in their 78th year. 38 have come over, 3 more than last year, to take on Islanders. The weekend started with them beating us at hockey and tug-of-war, but we beat them in the sailing and in Wednesday's inaugural events of tennis and squash. Their organisator, that's the term they use, is Jeremy Chadwick, and he's here for his 16th visit, and he says the visiting group has a fantastic spirit. Well, speaking before the success in the sailing races, Richard Mills of the Sailing Centre was positive about the chances of Scilly because of the strength of our junior side. And junior Maddie Sibley said she was looking forward to fun on the water and success for the island crew. The Selonian arrived around 2 hours late on September 28th. The sailing was delayed because of the electric failure of the sanitary water control system. It was felt better not to sail until the problem was fixed. Jackie Heyman of the steamship company says they couldn't flush the toilets, so it wouldn't have been suitable to ask passengers to make the 2 3/4 hour voyage. She says it might seem rather trivial to stop the vessel for that reason, but they had to consider that for public health requirements. The days of our island's microwave broadband link and its limited access are numbered. Scilly is to get the fastest broadband available, with the announcement of a major investment in infrastructure for Cornwall and the islands. Our town hall has worked with Cornwall's authority to pull off a £134 million investment from European and BT Cash to bring a fibre optic cable to Scilly. Once installed in less than 2 years' time, all homes and businesses on the islands could have internet speeds of up to 100 megabits per second. Currently, the fastest connections are around the telegraph phone exchange of around 8 megabits per second. But the further away, the slower your connection, because the speed uses old copper wires. Many homes have under 1 megabit per second. To put the new speed into perspective, the download of an episode of EastEnders from the BBC iPlayer could be as fast as 15 seconds. Diana Mompoloki from the Town Hall says a super-fast speed could change the way we work and offer new employment opportunities. Diana says the upgrade of the broadband system here could help us keep in touch with friends and relatives up country using webcams and Skype, which at the moment can be unreliable. Council Chief Executive Philip Highgate says the investment has the potential to transform the economy not just of the islands but of the whole southwest peninsula. He says the new technology will give Ireland's business extra competitiveness in the global marketplace, and he's sure it'll spark local entrepreneurs into new and exciting deals. St Mary's Police were called out on the 26th of September to an incident where a visitor died on board a tripper boat on the Saturday morning. Paramedics were also in attendance after the 65-year-old male became unwell on board the Britannia. A number of people helped in getting the man ashore, but nothing could be done. The island's police chief, Charlie Craig, explains the police's involvement.
Sometimes police get the comment from people, why are the police involved in somebody who's died? You know, surely it's ambulance or the doctors that should be dealing with that, and maybe a word of explanation in there is needed. And the police basically act as agents of the coroner in all cases of sudden death when it's out in public or in somebody's home. And our job is to obviously act for the coroner and represent the person who has died, really, because obviously they don't have a voice anymore. And obviously we check for any suspicious circumstances, any signs of violence, etc., just to make sure that, you know, if somebody has had a crime committed against them and that has resulted in their death, obviously then we protect the evidence because it could turn into a major case. But obviously on this occasion it wasn't. It was just a very unfortunate medical issue. But obviously we report back to the coroner with the circumstances and try and facilitate things for the family of the deceased.
The ambulance boat and the air ambulance were called out to Samson on Tuesday afternoon to help a woman who'd fallen on the island of Samson. The pensioner was treated for pain in her hip and spine at Trelisk Hospital in Truro. Her husband's told Radio Scilly News that she's back on St Mary's now, shaken, unstirred but not broken. He's offered thanks to Sue and Murray Hodgson, along with the crew of the Sapphire, who were first on the scene, and he's commended the ambulance boat staff and the Cornwall Air Ambulance team. The helicopter landed just after 4:30, and the injured visitor was at Truro's Trelisk by about 5 o'clock. St Mary's Police have become involved in an unusual rescue. A visitor became trapped in the powder magazine on the garrison. The man appears to have been stuck for around an hour and alerted passers-by to the fact he'd been locked in a bit of a panic because he was concerned about missing his helicopter flight back to the mainland. After calling for help, Police Sergeant Charlie Craig was dispatched to calm the man down and contact the Duchy of Cornwall in Hugh House to get the door of the ancient monument opened. Charlie says he's unsure how the man got locked in.
We can only guess that the gentleman concerned, who was a visitor to the islands just for the day, went into the powder magazine to have a look round and went round the outside of the magazine to have a look round first. And in that time period, Mr Batten, who's responsible for the security there, came in, cleared the inside area out and then proceeded to lock the door.
Charlie said he had to reassure him that help was on the way.